Hey guys, it's Sami, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 27th of November 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. And as you see, it's not just me. We also got Baby Huey with us. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks again for having me back on.
Anytime. How have you been? How was your Thanksgiving?
Dude, awesome. Once again, I know I texted you this last night, but happy Thanksgiving to you, your family, and friends. But man, I've had so much turkey in the last 24 hours. But tonight, my brother, shout out to him, he made dinner yesterday, and then tonight he hooked it up with a turkey melt sandwich. So just
nice.
to kind of keep it fresh, so just not just eating regular turkey again. We're gonna have a lot of different turkey items for the next couple days.
Now, what do you put in your leftover turkey sandwich?
Okay, so he oh my god, he fried it, on the stove,
right?
And he had I tasted the cheese, and he had like some mustard on it, and it kept it pretty simple for me. And he had the cheese on it, and then I could taste like the butter on the bread. So
because what I usually do is I mayonnaise the bread, put a little turkey, a scoop of leftover stuffing, and then the cheese.
Ooh, I see. Stuffing is number one for me.
I put a little bit of the stuffing, and then I fry it up in the pan. That's what I had to do for lunch.
Okay, I gotta tell him to do that. Yeah, no, I love stuffing. Stuffing, like I said, it's my number one. I can eat that anytime of the year. I love it. So yeah, I'll have to tell him, let's mix it up and add some extra layers in there. But we got ham left over as well, so we got a bunch of stuff. I got a chocolate pie waiting for me after this. So, dude, yeah, we're gonna be eating good for all weekend long.
That sounds great. But with that, we're here to talk about Friday Night Smackdown. Thank you guys for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited or YouTube.com/ Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are here on Twitch, we are raising money to help people that have been displaced from the Creek Fire here in Central California. You can either hit that donate button down below, you can either donate Twitch bits or subscribe to the channel either with a tiered subscription or with Amazon Prime, because as I've been telling you guys, not only does Amazon Prime allow you to watch Borat try to give his daughter to Mike Pence, but it also allows you to subscribe to any one Twitch channel that you would like to subscribe to with Prime Gaming, Prime Gaming is what they're calling it now. Twitch Prime, I don't know, they've changed the name 4 or 5 times, but with that, Twitch is owned by Amazon. They give you one free subscription, and we would greatly appreciate it if you use that one subscription on us, because like I stated, we're helping out people that may need it, that may have been displaced from the Creek Fire. I know a couple of people specifically that I grew up with that had to move out of their house for a little while. But with that, we're here to talk about some SmackDown. Quick one sentence, what do you think of SmackDown?
Pretty good for the fallout post Survivor Series. I think it was great, just continuation of the Roman Reigns, Jey Uso storyline, and now a new foe is entering the equation now. So I think that's the main focus. Obviously, that's been their main storyline for the last couple months now. But I love all that stuff.
Before we get going, I want to say thank you to Broken King Slender on Twitch for subscribing at Tier 1 for 5 months in a row. Thank you, bud.
Wow, dude, that's awesome. By the way, I got to do that. So earlier, since it is Black Friday, I actually re-upped my Amazon Prime earlier. So, all right, I will supply my Amazon Prime membership to Pro Wrestling Unlimited.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So SmackDown opened up with Jey Uso making his way down to the ring. Uso noted everyone is talking about Undertaker's farewell at Survivor Series. He thinks everyone really should be talking about Roman Reigns beating Drew McIntyre. Uso talked about McIntyre's recent win over Randy Orton. He praised McIntyre, but pointed out that Roman is the one that defeated him last Sunday. Uso was about to introduce Reigns when Reigns' music would cut him off. Reigns and Paul Heyman made their way down to the ring. Reigns slowly took the mic and told the production truck to play it. He and Uso then watched on the big screen. They recapped Team Raw beating Team SmackDown. Clean sweep, and Roman was not happy about that at all. They also recapped Roman defeating McIntyre with Uso interrupting that match or interfering. Roman then got mad, said that he told Jey, leave. He didn't ask for Jey's help. Reigns pointed out that Uso lost the Survivor Series because his teammates don't fear him or respect him. That means they don't respect Reigns or the family. Reigns said that he's not somebody in the back begging for Thanksgiving leftovers. He asked Uso if that's what he sees. Is that all that you think of me? Reigns feels like he's some guy Reigns feels like he's some guy begging for leftovers because Uso is a failure. Reigns and Heyman then walked off. Uso slowly walked to the back and was a little distraught over the comments by Roman. So this is basically Roman like, hey, you need to prove to me that you deserve to be in the family. You've agreed to be in the family, but now you need to show that aggressive side. And we saw it multiple times throughout the show. What do you think of Roman's little speech here to Jay?
Man, I mean, and this is something I've been talking about for the last few weeks. I love that like Roman's really turned into this whole Godfather persona as far as putting fear into his members of his staff, his group, we want to call it. I mean, right now it's just Paul Heyman and Jey Uso, but I feel like for Jey Uso, he's like walking on eggshells. Like he doesn't know what to do. It's like every move he makes, it's like the wrong thing. And Roman's got to remind him and put him in his place. So I love that tonight you got to see a side of Jey as far as like, he's kind of breaking down. He's like, he's getting really distraught and he's upset because, you know, originally he was against Roman and everything he was stood for since he's been back with WWE post SummerSlam. But now I think he's so fearful of getting a beatdown that we saw him take the last couple pay-per-views. So he's obviously following along, wants to stay in the family, and wants to make his cousin happy. And so he has the fear of God in him. And so obviously Roman is criticizing his performance and how SmackDown got swept. And obviously they don't listen to Jey Uso, and therefore it's disrespecting him and the family. And so he told him, you know, you got to get your S together. And I love when they were leaving, Otis comes out and Jay comes back out with the chair and he snapped and he starts beating the crap out of Otis with the chair. So it just really shows the influence that Roman now has on Jay. And he's taking it out on poor Otis there, but Otis was the casualty. But it really just shows the influence and the power that Roman now has on his cousin, and his cousin is slowly breaking down because he's going to that dark side. And so that's just what's really interesting, this whole story of how Jay is like going crazy, trying to that internal conflict of he wants to be good, but he has to follow his cousin because he don't want to get beat down again like he has been. And so just that inner turmoil is so great. And really this whole storyline has really made Jay such like, you know, he's part of like more of the main event scene. He's a bigger player. When before, you know, whenever his brother was hurt, he was just in the back sitting there not doing anything. So now he's getting this great singles run out of it. So I love every aspect of this story so far.
And I thought it was funny though, as Jey Uso's slowly walking up the ramp, Otis's music hits, and Otis doesn't even bat an eye. He just does his normal entrance, kicking his feet, just stomping and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen. I had a feeling the way Jay was looking at him, like, who do you think you are doing your entrance when I'm still here? And as he said, he came back with that chair and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, dude, I love that because just like I said, it just shows Jay just snapped.
Yeah.
Because like I said, that inner turmoil of he still wants to be good, but he has to follow what his cousin's telling him to do because we already know the repercussions of his actions. So it's just Jay is what's making this storyline so engaging.
Oh yeah,
just
I think so too.
Breakdown. Yeah, so I love it. Everything about it so far.
And so Otis is beat down. We learned he was supposed to take on King Corbin. They say we don't know the status of that match now. We'll learn later. And WWE don't even bat an eye. They just send out Ziggler and Roode for the next match. Otis is still out there. They mock Otis for getting beat up. They had a bunch of dumb jokes. Ziggler even admitted that they were dumb jokes. They then got serious and turned their attention to the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. Street Profits made their way down to the ring. They talked about their match against New Day and praised them as well. Montez Ford was excited to have a match with Roode and HBK. Angelo Dawkins corrected Ford, but he didn't believe him. Ford pointed out the similarities between Ziggler and Shawn Michaels. So we got a non-title match here. It was the Street Profits against Ziggler and Roode. I thought this was a nice match. I thought it was really good. No one messed anything up. It was solid and fluid.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, Ziggler and Roode at this point in their careers, they're just, I don't want to say like they're just enhancement talent, but I mean, they're the veterans that'll go out there and as heels will do their best to put over the baby faces and go out there and put on a great match. But it still just sucks seeing them sneaking out, pulling out a victory here, and then it's like, I mean, of course, Street Profits were all shocked by it, but then now I'm like, oh, great, this is going to lead to a rematch, and then maybe something else is going to happen, some sort of wonky finish, and then it's going to lead to like another match, and probably going to lead to TLC. So it's like the next 4 weeks, we're going to see them go back and forth. So I don't know, like, listen, I know Ziggler and Roode are awesome. I kind of feel like they would deserve better than this, but yeah, they're just more or less at this point just helping get the Street Profits over.
Yeah, I mean, we saw week of the draft, they challenged the New Day, lost Raw tag titles, and they challenged Street Profit, lost SmackDown tag title match. So it's like, okay. So early on, Street Profits had the advantage. Ziggler was in the ring, hit a suicide dive, but Dawkins cut him off. Ford attempted a frog splash, but Roode pulled Dawkins off the apron. Ford went for the frog splash anyways, and Ziggler got his knees up as he went to the commercial break. Back from the break, the heels were firmly in control. They isolated Ford and cut him off from Dawkins. They had him on their side of the ring for quite a while, and Ziggler hit a splash in the corner. Roode followed this up with the backbreaker for a near fall. At one point, there were some jokes about Robert Roode's old mustache. The heels worked over Ford's injured ribs from the match with the New Day. Ziggler missed a charge in the corner, and that allowed Dawkins to get the tag. Dawkins ran wild on both heels. He hit his new little twisting neck breaker deal on Roode and Ziggler. Dawkins then hit... Oh, I read that line twice for some reason. Dawkins would then hit a spine buster and cut off Roode. Ford then hit his frog splash, but Ziggler broke up the pin. The finish of the match then came when Roode just rolled up Montez Ford and picked up the victory. So, like I said, solid match. No one messed anything up. I mean, perfect television tag team match, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it definitely, we got, a couple great segments out of it. And Street Profits, it's, I mean, God, Montez Ford, just his frog splash. Like, I'm still in awe. We've seen it quite a few times now.
That man can jump.
That is insane. Like, I mean, we should so much power rank the greatest frog splashes. And just
we thought RVD
one.
Would get some air off his frog splash. That don't even come close to Montez Ford's leap.
And I know, like, Eddie Guerrero, like, a lot of people love his frog splash. He was good at getting, like, distance.
Yes.
Not so much the height, but he gets height. And he can reach someone a little bit outward from the turnbuckle. I mean, it's insane. But yeah, listen, like I said, great match here, great tag team match. I mean, like you said, they're all established veterans. But now I'm like, based on the fact that Roode and Ziggler won, I'm like, all right, there's going to be a rematch. There's going to be some more back and forth. And this is going to be the storyline for the next few weeks. And it's going to lead to a TLC match of some sort.
But here's the question. We were trying to figure this out after the Survivor Series match. You look at Raw, you look at SmackDown. Are there really any other tag teams? Like, if you look at SmackDown, who else is there to challenge the Street Profits? I can't think of another tag team other than Ziggler and Roode. If not, maybe you put Dominic and Murphy together, but then that would be baby faces against baby faces, and WWE doesn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking they should have never broken up Heavy Machinery. It's insane.
That was dumb. Because Tucker's a guy that chases the 24/7 champion now.
And he looks like a jobber from the early 90s with his new outfit. But it's frustrating because, like, you see all the tag teams, or that they need more solid tag teams. I mean, they broke up a lot of them. I'm trying to think who else is really available right now that like stands out. That just shows that, like, the fact you and I can't think of like anything major off the top of our heads, it just shows that like they don't put enough emphasis on the tag team division. And I mean, hence why Street Profits has had this long title reign, because they just not a lot of competition for them. As far as heels go, I mean, I don't know. Let's see if Corbin can align with someone. I mean, we know Chad Gable has been kind of
starting something with Otis.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the SmackDown roster. I mean, they do have Cesaro and Nakamura. Those are heels.
Yeah. Where they been? That's interesting.
They lost the titles and then kind of just went away for a bit. Well, it was weird because at Survivor Series, Nakamura was in that Battle Royal in the pre-show, but no Cesaro. Yeah.
Interesting. Hopefully Cesaro's okay.
Right. And I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I mean, they had the Forgotten Sons, but they've been off TV for a long time.
Lucha House Party was on SmackDown,
They're on Raw
but now 2/3 went over to Raw. Right. So yeah, the draft really gutted their whole tag team division in some ways.
I mean, you can maybe get Chad Gable and, like you said, Otis together, Throw Dominic and Murphy together. I think Dominic and Murphy would be perfect for Dominic because he can learn so much from Murphy as a tag team partner.
Yeah, and he's still very green, and he pretty much jumped the line as far as wrestling careers go.
That's
as
for
far
sure.
As training, I think he went to a couple of wrestling schools, and then started doing stuff with his dad on Raw, and jump ahead to the SummerSlam match or wherever his debut was with Seth, and then boom, he's been drafted to SmackDown, and so he didn't go to he didn't go to the independent wrestling scene. He didn't go to NXT and all that. So he just jumped right to SmackDown. He's had the most amazing career thus far.
It's like when you look at the roster, there's really nobody else that can even if they wanted to throw people together to create tag teams, there really isn't anybody on that SmackDown roster.
Man, that really is that's kind of a sad point.
Yeah.
Just really think about it. It's like,
unless they bring up maybe like Undisputed Era from NXT or something. But then when you look at Raw, there's the exact same issue.
Or is it Breezango? I don't know how much
Breezango.
Longer.
You could bring them up. They're in NXT. They've lost the tag titles to Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch recently, but Raw's got the same issue of lack of tag teams and lack of guys that you can throw together, to be honest. If I look at the Raw roster, you've got Miz and Morrison, you've got Retribution, you've got the Hurt Business, you've got Lucha House Party. You do have a number of teams on Raw, so Raw is a little better. But SmackDown, you've got like 4 teams.
Man, and you can burn through those storylines pretty quickly within a few months, so... Man, they need to make some trades. Come on, Adam Pearce. You're the WWE official. Make some trades.
I like Adam Pearce in that role.
I do. I know it's not official. He's not official GM for Raw or SmackDown, but I love his title as WWE official. For people who don't know his backstory, he's a former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
Time.
He's a great performer, wrestler, and that's why he's so good on the
mic.
What
he reminds me of, and I don't know if anybody would remember this, it was like Jim Cornette back in the day when he was in charge of TNA. He was like the guy in charge at the show, but he was getting all his directives from what they called championship committee.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So they had a championship committee that was like the board of directors, I guess you would say, in WWE.
Yeah.
And then Cornette was that guy that was like going out there on TV every week saying, hey, this is what we need to do. But he still had power like Adam Pearce does to make matches if he sees fit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the same thing. He oversees the company while other people can't be there, I guess you could say.
And listen, I know, Raw and SmackDown have a ton of GMs over the years and various storylines. And
Raw had a GM that was just a laptop.
Yeah, it was a MacBook Pro just sitting there. but I think an authority figure of some sorts to kind of be like the face, someone that comes out and just at least calls the shots. That's important, at least for any type of conflict.
Or you could do it like TN or AEW does. At least with AEW, Jim Ross will be like, Tony Khan just came over the set and told me this match is next. I'm just hearing from Tony in the back. So we know there's somebody that's overseeing and in charge, even if he wants to or doesn't want to be on TV. So you've got to have somebody. It can't just be like, oh, hey, we got this match made. Well, why is this match made? Who made this match? Did the wrestlers get together and go, let's do this?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Right. No. So there's multiple ways. I always felt like whether they're on screen or not, there has to be somebody we know that is quote unquote in charge.
Yes. The face that, that can literally call the shots. And when, like you said, when conflicts, different issues arise amongst the roster, it from a storyline standpoint, it just really helps, someone to call the shots. Look at William Regal.
Exactly.
He's been there for years. We don't see him all the time, but when he does show up, it's important. It's big news. And he calls the shots. And like I said, that's why he's been doing it for years, but I'm not burnt out of him and his presence. Like I said, because he's not there all the time, but when he does show up, it's important.
Regal's been a GM on and off since 2001, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Because he was the commissioner back in the day.
Yeah.
He took over when Foley got fired.
That's right, man.
But Regal does love November, because then he can just yell War Games.
Yeah, oh, God, the fact he came out a couple weeks ago and he was just walking slowly down the ramp.
We all knew it was coming. Yeah.
It was coming. It's like, wait for it. It's like, get quiet. Shh. War Games. Yeah.
So going forward with SmackDown, Kayla Braxton interviewed Daniel Bryan, who I swear to God, if you look at him from behind, you think it's The Miz with that haircut.
With the new haircut.
He was standing in the ring during his match with Sami Zayn,
Yeah.
and it was zoomed way out, and he was from behind. And I'm just like, oh, that's The Miz. Like, it literally looks like when Miz had that same haircut.
Yeah. That's no, I'm digging the haircut. I'm sure his
looks
wife
good on him, though.
It was an influence on having him get it. It's a new little style, little fade on the sides. I'm all for that.
So Bryan said that he has certain things he wants to accomplish. He has to accept that Jey Uso has a devil on his shoulder now. And he also has to accept that Sami Zayn is a little delusional. He said he's been friends and known Sami Zayn for over 15 years, and he's never seen him this delusional. Bryan promised to defeat Sami Zayn tonight. He noted that Zayn thinks everyone is out to get him. Bryan's not out to get Zayn, though. He said he's out to get the Intercontinental Championship. That's what he wants. Bryan has to defeat Zayn, though, to get one step closer to the title. So then Kayla interviews Mysterio, Murphy, Dominic, and Aaliyah. So Ray praises Dominic and is proud he made his debut this year. He's also proud that Aaliyah is becoming a mature woman, as he stated. Ray said he's also happy that Murphy sees who the real Seth Rollins really is. Corbin would then interrupt. He was furious that all of a sudden they're one big happy family. He mocked Murphy and doubts that he'll even be there with the Mysterio family come next year for the holidays. He's like, you're embracing this guy with your daughter? He won't even be here for Thanksgiving next year. I was like, okay. They then aired a video tribute to The Undertaker. Basically, it's clips of his career, clips from Survivor Series. Same video we saw on Monday Night Raw. So going forward, we got another non-title match. It was Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn against Daniel Bryan. So not much happened before the commercial break. When we came back, Zayn was already in the ring talking. He didn't think that he should have to defend the title the day after a holiday. Zayn mocked the Thanksgiving holiday, and he turns his attention to Bryan. Zayn feels that Bryan doesn't deserve a title shot. He already defeated Bryan, and then Bryan would come out. Bryan had the early control in this match as he worked over Zayn's arm. Bryan took Zayn to the mat and worked over his left arm yet more. The pace quickened when Bryan attempted a back body drop, but Zayn kicked Bryan in the face. After a commercial break, Zayn was firmly in control. Bryan fought back. Bryan then hit a Hurricane Rana off the top rope for a near fall. Bryan slowed the pace down and once again worked over the arm. Zayn avoided a kick and rolled onto the apron. Bryan went to go after Zayn, and Zayn raked Bryan in the eyes and rammed him into the ring post. And then a crazy-looking spot. Zayn gave Bryan a brainbuster right on the apron. Both guys then fell down, and whew, that looked like it might have hurt a little bit.
That was like, oh my God, he took one at this point in his career. Like, ouch.
I mean, it's like when he first came back. He was trying to, for a long time, like the first 2 months when he first came back, he was like dropping himself on his head on purpose to say, hey, I'm good to go.
Yeah, he would run across the ring and throw his whole body into the person. I was like,
and then land down on his, Yeah,
it's like, stop it, man. It's like, come on. We want you to be here for like at least a few more years. Come on.
So Zayn almost wins by count out here, but Bryan made it back in the ring just in time. Zayn immediately hit the Blue Thunder Bomb and got a really close near fall. And in a funny spot, Corey Graves goes, hey, Cole, you know why they call it the Blue Thunder Bomb? And he goes, no, I don't, Corey. And he goes, oh, well, you're a journalist. You should know that. Look it up. I started laughing there.
I was going to say, wait, yeah, please. What's the answer? I want to know why the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Because that's just the name it's been forever. I don't even know.
I love that.
I wanted Corey Graves to tell us, but he didn't.
I know Sami Zayn's a heel right now, but I love that move. I'm a big fan of just power bombs in general and like different variations of it. So yeah, the Blue Thunder Bomb, I love it. I've been a big fan of it.
So Zayn then yells at Bryan for a minute before he attempts a second Blue Thunder Bomb, but Bryan countered it into a yes lock. Zayn fought back and made it to the ropes to break the hold. Zayn rolled to the floor, and Bryan hit a suicide dive. He threw Zayn into the ring, but then rolled out the other side. Sami did. Bryan hit another suicide dive, and Zayn ran back, and Bryan ran to the back, actually, and Bryan ran after him. The referee started counting. When the referee reached 7, Zayn came sprinting back down the ring, ramp, jumped in the ring, and won by count out. And we're like, whoa, where's Daniel Bryan? Commentary got worried and everything, and all of a sudden they cut to the back. They cut to the back, and Jey Uso's beating down Daniel Bryan, and all of a sudden Kevin Owens and some referees come up to try and break it up. They pull Jey off. Jey jumps back on him. Finally, Kevin Owens just pushes Jey Uso off and is like, hey, You don't need to be doing this. What's all this about? You know, you're listening to the wrong person. He's making you do things you don't need to do. And Jay's just like, you want some, Owens? You know where to find me. So Owens just tells the referee, make sure Daniel's okay. I'm going to go check on him. So sets up for a really good main event.
Yeah, well, so that finish with Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. So I love the little video package before the match with just kind of quick little summary about their whole conflict right now, and just Daniel Bryan, that they played the audio of him really emphasizing that the IC title should be, once again, the working man's championship, as far as showing up, every week to defend it. That should be defended every week on SmackDown. And, for a lot of us old school fans, the IC title, that's what it represents to us. All the great people that have held it over the years, it should be, the working man's championship. And so that was a great narrative that he was laying out there. And then jump ahead to Sami Zayn and the highlights of his defenses as of late, between the cheating, with opening up the turnbuckle and throwing, I think it was it Jeff Hardy, whoever it was, onto it. So. Apollo Crews tying his foot up against under the barricade there, under the ring there. So I love, he's been cheating or outsmarting his opponents and winning matches that way, with countouts or when the ref's not looking. So he's obviously going the opposite of what Daniel Bryan's wishes are of how that title should be defended and what it means for obviously the WWE and the fans. So I love they established that narrative going into the match. And then once again, Sami Zayn trying to leave, get out of the ring, ran. At one point, Daniel stood on his hair and he was like, stop. And, they run out, and the ref is counting up to 10. And all of a sudden, Sami Zayn comes running back and Daniel's not there. Like, once again, Sami Zayn, sneaks one out, chicken-ass finish, as a heel. And I was like, oh my God, I hope Daniel's okay. What did Sami do to him back there how did he outsmart him this time around, or his opponent? And so, when they jumped to the back and Jey Uso laid into him, like, whoa, once again, that continuing storyline throughout the night of Jey snapped and just taking out the roster one by one to win over his approval from his cousin to make up for them getting swept at Survivor Series. So on a side note, I really like, I know kind of the biggest criticism of Survivor Series in recent years, when it's Raw versus SmackDown, like there's no stakes. It's just an exhibition match. It's just like an all-star game. There's no like real major competition other than bragging rights. And, I've said like, maybe the winner should get something out of winning the match and whatnot. I like over on Raw, it seems like all 5 guys that won Team Raw, they're all now going to be involved in the title picture scene, which is great. It kind of shows that for their win at Survivor Series, there's something a reward for that, and that's a whole separate storyline on Raw. Here on SmackDown, the fact that all 5 of them got swept, the repercussions from that is really important. So I love that they're using that loss for a new set of storylines on SmackDown moving forward. So that's ultimately this year's Survivor Series. I give them credit that the fallout from that match is leading out to fresh storylines on both shows respectively. So for Jey Uso, he snapped, and I would not be surprised we're going to see this for the next few weeks. He's going to take out members of the roster just to win over his, like I said, his cousin's approval. And so, Daniel Bryan tonight, and then Kevin Owens, who was noticing what was going on, was like, hey man, cut that out. And as you said, it leads to a great main event.
Oh, yeah, and then you got Daniel Bryan, and my first thought was after that match was, okay, Daniel didn't technically lose because Jay beat him down. He's going to get another shot at Sami. But jumping forward, they set up another challenger for Sami later, too, with Big E. So, and we'll talk about that more once we get to that segment. So I'm kind of confused where they're going with Sami Zayn's next challenger. Maybe they do a triple threat. Maybe it's not Daniel Bryan, and that's just a way to give Daniel Bryan a couple weeks off again. I don't know. But the next match we did have here, actually, in the back, Kevin Owens approached Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. He said he's sick of their family issues affecting the roster. Owens said that Reigns is on an ego trip and he doesn't get to just do whatever he wants. Owens mocked them and then walked off. Reigns said that Kevin Owens should not be able to look at him like that or even talk to him like that, and basically told Jey, you need to go take care of this. So it's like, hey, Roman, well, why don't you take care of it if you're that mad? Which I assume he's going to probably at TLC. But then that's quite a long ways to keep these two guys apart as far as like no contact or anything and not having a match. Because TLC's in like a month. What do we have? We have...
It's December 20th, right?
1, 2, 3. So we have 3 more. No. Yeah, 3 more SmackDowns before TLC.
So maybe I'm just thinking, okay, Daniel Bryan, maybe like next week, but they've already had a couple matches already.
Well, Jay and Daniel are 1-1. They need a rubber match.
Okay, so maybe they have a rubber match. Maybe Kevin gets involved in that somehow. And then maybe Kevin and Jay have a match the following week.
Right.
And then the following week will be the go home show for TLC, and
maybe like a contract signing or something.
Yeah, a stare down between Roman and Kevin. Boom, there you go, Bruce Pritchard. There's the next 3 weeks.
I'm interested to see how they do Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens with the roles flipped, with Roman the heel, Owens the babyface, and no Jericho to run in and interrupt like we saw last time in 2016.
Good knowledge, yeah, dude. That's gonna be interesting. It's really trippy because I'm a big fan of Kevin Owens, and this has been the longest that he's been a baby face. And I don't know, like I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but I've been thinking like, who's gonna be the person to eventually like dethrone Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns, hottest thing in WWE. You want to keep him booked strong. He's gonna be tearing down everyone thrown at him. And I think a lot of people were speculating. There was the rumor of maybe The Rock next year, WrestleMania, but I don't know if they're going to get to that. I mean, with the pandemic still in question, and they can maybe save it for the following year if they do the makeup in Los Angeles. So in the meantime, next year's WrestleMania, who's going to be the one to maybe dethrone him there? I think a lot of people assume Big E's going to get a big singles push. That's been the long rumor, but Big E's been doing all these backstage segments, not wrestling. So I was kind of thinking, well, maybe Kevin Owens could be the guy. He's kind of been like presented as like the everyday working man with the jeans and just the cutoff shirt and just wears, his regular just old basketball shorts to the ring. But now he's going to be, looks like Roman's next opponent.
Yeah, too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon. So yeah, it's obviously he's going to take the L here, early prediction. So it's like, oh, maybe it's not going to be Kevin Owens. So maybe Big E down the road.
What I would have liked to see was Randy Orton, WWE champion. Drew doesn't get the title back, wins the Royal Rumble, challenges Roman, goes over to SmackDown. But Drew got the belt back, so I don't know.
Unless Big E's gonna win, Big E's gonna win the Royal Rumble. But
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but I just, God, because WrestleMania is gonna be here before we know it pretty soon. So it's like, is that enough time to start building a Big E?
4 months ish.
Yeah, so I don't know, like based on what they've been using Big E for the last few weeks, we haven't seen much. So I still have hopes of Big E gonna get. I think 2021 should be a big year for him, no pun intended. But yeah, I want to see them start laying the groundwork now.
So going forward, we had a match between Bianca Belair and Natalya where Bayley came out on commentary. Looks like they're really building up something between Bayley and Bianca Belair. This match was all right. Nothing, just like the tag match. Like I said, it was a solid, good television match. Natalya backed Belair in the corner early and rocked her with some shots. Natalya followed this up with a suplex for a near fall. Belair fought back and used an inside cradle for a near fall. Natalya recovered and hit a discus clothesline for yet another near fall. Belair then fought back and tossed Natalya into the ropes and then tossed her to the floor. Bayley got in Belair's face and told her to get Natty back in the ring so you don't get counted out yet again. Belair yelled at Bayley and just told her, hey, you need to sit down. Natalya tried to jump Belair from behind and almost hit Bayley. Belair ended up hitting Bayley in the face. Natty then threw Belair back into the ring and attempted a sharpshooter, but Bayley jumped up on the apron. At that time, Belair pushed off and Natalya collided with Bayley. Bayley turned around and Natty turned around and Belair rolled her up for the near fall. So Bianca Belair does pick up the victory here, and it really does look like something's going to go down with her and Bayley in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, as we were just saying a second ago, yeah, this match, good filler match. Is unfortunately Natty and Bianca. This match was just more to, I think, establish what's coming up involving Bianca and Bayley, which is great because Bayley and Sasha, that's all done for now. And okay, Sasha's gonna be busy with Carmela. We gotta give something Bayley to do. And I'm all for Bianca. She's the hot thing that came over in the draft. She's a badass in the ring. And so as far as them kind of jarring back and forth and even up through Survivor Series, I think this is great. Great first opponent post Bayley losing the title against Bianca. And I anticipate, I mean, for Bianca's sake in her career, that she's gonna get one over on Bayley, get a big win at some point. So this is a great, I think, move for Bianca's career. But yeah, this match more or less was just setting up that storyline. I kind of wish maybe Bianca won in more dominating fashion, but at the same time, I get it because Bayley got involved, and therefore that's the point of like, okay, you got involved in my business. All right, now you're the next one in line for me to take on.
And I like what you said there. This match was setting something up for the future. And to be honest, that's something I'm going to praise SmackDown for, because I felt like every match tonight had a purpose. There wasn't a whatever match that doesn't matter for anything. I mean, even in the next match with Murphy versus Corbin may be getting himself a little bit of a stable going forward after what he said at the end of this match. So, I mean, every match tonight I felt like maybe didn't have stakes, but build towards something in the future. And it wasn't just hey, these two guys are going to like if we would have got Corbin versus Otis, that would have just been a match to have a match. But I felt like every match tonight actually did something for something further down the line. It actually built towards something.
Yep, absolutely. And no, I agree 100%. And that's a great thing, because listen, WWE, they got pay-per-view every month. And so, these storylines more or less have like a 3 to 4 week like lifespan in some way, unless you're Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio that lasted 6 months.
Well, it was more than 6 months. Technically, that started last year right after Survivor Series.
Oh my God, that's right. But what I'm getting at is, there's always a quick turnaround. Like once a pay-per-view's done, there's the turnaround. Okay, what's the fallout? What's leading up to the next pay-per-view? So the next 4 weeks are going to be all these new storylines building up for that pay-per-view. So yeah, and I love that they're not dragging their feet. They're like out of the gates, first SmackDown post Survivor Series. Yeah, they're laying the groundwork for all these new storylines to lead up to the matches for that card. So yeah, kudos to SmackDown. I mean, SmackDown arguably for how many months now has been arguably the best show every week. So and from the details to the storylines, the drama, the emotions, just the in-ring work. Yeah, SmackDown overall has just been such a fun to watch every Friday night.
So as we stated, the next match was Murphy versus King Corbin. I felt like the match was a little longer than it needed to be. And it was okay with all the different Mysterio, like, Dominic, Aaliyah, and Rey kind of getting involved, but not getting involved at the same time. Corbin had the advantage early, and Dominic jumped on the apron. They keep going, and then Rey jumps up on the apron. And Rey next to Corbin, you forget how short Rey is. No offense. Because Rey jumped up on the apron. Rey jumped up on the apron, and he's like, arms are up like this, trying to like put his arms up on the top rope. And I'm like, I forget how short Rey actually is. And then Corbin goes up next to him, and he goes, David versus Goliath.
It's like, hey, Dad, how's it going? No, but I interviewed Baron once in person, and I'm 6'4", and I was looking up at him.
Dang.
I mean, there's a photo of him and I. And like at least the angle was a little bit downward, so we're almost looking like the same height. But yeah, no, he's got a couple inches on me, and I'm like, whoa. And so yeah, every week when I see him on TV, I'm like, that's a tall ass dude,
right?
Man.
So Corbin remaining in control, even though the I guess you say distractions. He attempted a around the ring post clothesline, but Aaliyah stood in the way. Corbin became frustrated that the Mysterio family kept interfering. Murphy took over and hit a dive off the apron. Murphy regained control. As Corbin tried to go for the deep six, he hit it and got a near fall. Dominic and Rey kept interfering, and Corbin was yelling at the referee, hey, this isn't fair. And Michael Cole, or Corey Graves first said, he goes, Corbin's got a legit reason to be mad here. There's interference. And Cole goes, yeah, I would never really want to stick up for Corbin, but you're right, Cole. He does have a legit reason to be upset right now. And it's like, okay, Corbin's the heel. Why are you putting the heel in the babyface disadvantage spot? This didn't make sense to me in that regard. But anyways, Murphy rocked Corbin with a knee and pinned him to pick up the victory after Dominic had grabbed his leg. Again, are the Mysterios heels now? Or I don't get that at all. Like, Dominic grabbed his leg. What? Okay, whatever. Corbin then got his foot on the rope, but Dominic pushed it off, and again, that's how he got the victory. Murphy, that is. So after the match, the Mysterios and Murphy were all celebrating on the ramp, and Corbin was basically like, hey, I wanted you versus me. I wasn't, wanting all these other people out here, this and that. So how about we do this again next week? You bring them if you want, but just know I'll be ready. So I don't know if he's got backup, who that backup can be, who he's gonna bring with him. I doubt it's just a steel chair or something, because that would make him the even bigger baby face. If he's like, I'm ready for all four of you, and I got a chair. No.
Well, I'm just thinking. So, as you say, it was total role reversal. Baron Corbin for the heel was, it was at an unfair advantage the whole time. And then also, even the finish, like it didn't really. Okay, Murphy is now on this new babyface run, and it didn't really make him look good as far as a good, clean victory over Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin, he's the perfect guy to face as a heel that can help put you over to start your singles run. And so, I just felt bad for Murphy as far as this finish goes. It didn't make him look like any stronger. And it's like, okay, his new extended in-law family was there to help him get this win here. And it's like, okay. And as you said, like it's gonna lead to a rematch. I mean, WWE, they love their rematches, and so now it's like I'm intrigued. It's like, okay, who's Baron Corbin's new little faction or stable that he's referring to? So in the past, it was Roode and Ziggler, right, that helped them over on Raw.
On SmackDown, because when they did the whole stuff with Roman Reigns and the dog food.
That's right. Okay, I was trying to remember. It was like I know Ziggler and Roode.
Ziggler and Roode. I forgot all about that.
So it's like, could it be them again? But I mean, it's like,
maybe
we've seen that, but like, or could it be someone completely fresh? And
I've thought that Corbin needs to go like the JBL route. He's the king, and then he's got his court under him. JBL had his cabinet. Yeah. So Corbin needs his court.
Well, I'd see. Well, that's the thing. It's like, how long is Corbin gonna have this king gimmick? It's like, okay,
I honestly don't know until the next King of the Ring.
Which they didn't have one this year, right?
Nope.
Wait,
no, they didn't do one this year. It was last year, 2019.
He won in 2019. So, I mean, I know Xavier Woods really wants to be a King of the Ring.
Yes, he does.
Winner. Which I wish they would bring that back. I mean, I know Vince is not a big tournament fan, but do it like as a one day like network special or something. If you don't want to have it on Raw or SmackDown, but like they do Starrcade. Actually, wait, wasn't Starrcade usually a network thing this time of the year? But
Starrcade has been a live event, and then the last 2 years ago they aired like an hour of it, and then last year they aired maybe a little more than an hour of it. Yeah,
which is so sad. Just how historical Starrcade was as far as the NWA and all that stuff in the 80s and 90s. But anyway, I'm just saying like. I just wonder how long is Corbin going to be this king gimmick for? Like, I wonder, can he retire at some point or can he do something different? But I guess in the meantime, if he's going to be a king, then give him a court then. So now who fills out the rest of that faction? So, I mean, God, that's a good question. I don't know. Who could it possibly be? If it's going to be new faces, going to be someone from, could it be a call up from NXT or something? I don't know. It's got me intrigued and wants to tune in next week for.
And Sinclair Saturday in the YouTube chat says, wait, didn't Booker T have a court back in 2006 when he was King of the Ring? I don't believe so. I think Booker T just had Sharmell as queen.
Yeah, I think it was just his wife only.
It was just Queen Sharmell.
And they were awesome. He's probably the greatest King of the Ring winner ever.
All hail King Booker. All hail. Like she always said it. I love the way she was just like, all hail King Booker. All hail King Booker. I loved it.
Yes, it was great.
So going forward, Michael Cole let us know that, earlier we saw Heyman and Adam Pearce talking. That's because Heyman was getting a match set up, Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens in the main event. Then in the back, Big E and Apollo Crews are just playing around. I don't know what the hell they're supposed to be doing. At first I thought they were like trying to play one-on-one basketball, but they didn't have a basketball because it looked like Big E was behind him trying to like reach around to like steal the ball, and Apollo Crews is like, I don't even know. They're in front of the interview area where Caleb Braxton's behind them just looking like, what are we doing here? Am I supposed to interview somebody or not? What? So Sami Zayn walks up.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys need to leave. I've got an interview right now. What are you doing here? And Zayn mocked Big E for not being an Intercontinental Champion in like 10 years. He goes, no one even remembers when you were the champion. It's that forgettable. Big E thanked Zayn and shook his hand. Zayn said, people can beat people in 2 seconds. I beat Daniel Bryan in 10 seconds. So Big E shook his hand and squeezed it for 10 seconds. And I love when he gets to 5 and he goes, I love that number. And he goes all the way to 10 and goes, wow, 10 is a little long. So basically Sami Zayn's like, ow, my hand hurts. Kayla's like, are we doing this interview? And he's like, no, we're not doing an interview. And he storms off.
Yeah, no, I really like that segment for multiple reasons. So yeah, I have shook Big E's hand myself a couple times. He does have a very firm grip. I will confirm that. But yeah, the 5 count reference, which was his thing he used to do, FCW, right? Or
NXT too, both.
Or NXT,
he would be like, I don't want to beat people in just 3 seconds. I'm going to pin them in 5. The 5 count. And
for all you old school fans out there, so he got the idea from Dusty Rhodes, which was an old thing that King Kong Bundy used to do back in the 80s. So King Kong Bundy would beat guys and demanded a 5 count. So 5 count. So yeah, that was great. Great callback for just all the wrestling historians out there. The great 5 count.
So then all of a sudden we cut to commentary and there's Billie Kay just sitting between Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And she hands him, she goes, here's my headshot. On the back is my resume. I've got a background in talking.
Yeah.
So if you guys need me, she looks at Graves and goes, I can take over. Go. And they're looking at her like, what? And Michael Cole's just like, cut it. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? They cut it to Carmela.
Yeah, let me ask you this real quick. So when the Iconics broke up, who got the better end of that deal? Because I think
neither.
The rumor was, okay, neither. The rumor was, Peyton Royce is going to get a big singles run. And Billie Kay was just going to be whatever. But I kind of feel like Billie Kay, at least she's gained some more segments. She hasn't wrestled per se, but at least she's gained segments like
Peyton's
appearing.
So the weird thing was, the rumor was they want to break them up so Peyton can become a single star. But then like a month later, she's in a tag team with Lacey Evans. I don't know.
It was interesting because apparently Vince really liked Peyton Royce, and there's all the speculations like, oh, she dyed her hair blonde a little bit because Vince likes blondes, and so she was kind of like changing her look a little bit, I guess, for Vince McMahon standards. And we're thinking, okay, cool, she's gonna now start getting a run. And yeah, she hardly was being used, and yeah, they just threw her with Lacey Evans, and Survivor Series, she had a pretty strong showing. And listen, I know we've only had one Raw post Survivor Series, so I still want to be, anticipating that she's gonna get, some sort of run, maybe starting next week. I don't know, but yeah, no, I want to be positive that her strong showing in Survivor Series is still gonna lead to that singles run that everyone's speculating she was gonna get.
Right.
But but nonetheless, it's for the Iconics. Why split them up if you're not going to do anything with either one of them right away?
It made no sense to me. But like I said, they cut it to Carmela, who was in the back. She says she's not dancing for people's amusement anymore. They aired clips of Carmela's return and her attacks on Sasha Banks. Carmela noted that people jump when she says to. So she snaps her fingers. Nothing happens. She snaps her fingers again, and then she gets handed a glass, I guess, of wine or something. And the hand turns, and it's got the boss ring on. And she realizes, oh crap, that's Sasha. Sasha attacks her, throws the drink in her face. Sasha then takes her down, puts her in the bank statement, and referees have to pull Sasha off. Cool little segment. I guess that's going to be the SmackDown Women's title match going forward to TLC. Well, I think coming out of this show, we know of the Universal title match for TLC most likely, SmackDown Women's title match most likely, and then I'm still iffy on what the IC title match could be, because I don't know if it's Bryan, I don't know if it's going to be Big E, and Ziggler and Roode tag titles. So basically the SmackDown side of things, champions-wise, they set all that up in one night, which I like.
Or even Bayley and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, there's another one too. Yeah.
So, right there, you got everything set. And, I mean, you can, over on Raw, you can assume maybe Randy and Bray Wyatt at some point as well.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
SmackDown's always, like, not always, but for the last couple of months, SmackDown seemed to be booked really well. It's the exact same people booking Raw, and Raw seems like it's just a what the hell, fly the seat of your pants kind of deal every week, and it's the same people.
You brought
weird.
that up, and I remember I saw, I think it was your video that you said the week before last week was Vince wasn't on site. Triple H and Bruce Pritchard did the booking, and Triple H was the one in charge of the main event with Drew and Randy, and that's the great main event. Yeah, so I mean, I love when I heard your video explain that. I was like, no wonder that was a great main event and great show for Raw. And yeah, I'm like, why can't Raw be like this on a regular basis? If those powers that be, or who put together that show the previous, the go home show for Raw for Survivor Series, yeah, I want that on a regular basis.
It's just weird that it's like the same people putting together SmackDown are also putting together Raw, and SmackDown story-wise is just so far superior.
I'm still mind-boggled as well. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. So yeah, it's just so interesting. And who knows if we ever get like a true shoot interview or something, someone explaining why is that really extra hour that difficult to fill, and then therefore domino effect ruins the rest of the show. Maybe. I don't know.
So we move on to our main event, Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. I thought this was a great match with an even better finish. Like, okay, the finish was okay, but after the fact is what I really liked. Kevin Owens is amazing. And like I said in my NXT review this week, the little things that Kevin Owens does is what sets him apart. It's the little things that may not be written into the script, or that you may not even expect or think that he's going to do, that he does. And especially at the end of the show. So they attack each other as the bell rang. They traded hard shots, and Owens gained the control. Owens backed Uso into a corner and beat him down. He then tossed Uso to the floor. Uso sent Owens into the steps and took over the match. Where was I? They showed Reigns watching backstage with Paul Heyman. Reigns was watching the screen. Heyman was watching Roman. Owens fought back and rocked Uso with a clothesline. He followed this up with a senton, but then went shoulder first into the ring post. Uso attempted a suicide dive, but Owens caught him. He slingshotted Uso into the ring post and followed this up with two, not one, but two super kicks. After commercial break, Owens hit a swanton bomb off the apron onto Uso at ringside. Uso fought back and attacked Owens' injured arm. Uso slowed down the pace and worked over the arm yet again. Uso would miss a splash in the corner, and Owens would rock him with yet another super kick. Owens fought back and attempted a pop-up powerbomb, but his arm gave out. And I liked Corey Graves' commentary when he goes, Owens really has to be hurt to not be able to get that powerbomb, because he's been doing that for years and knows how to do it with ease. Uso then hits a super kick of his own for a close near fall. Uso climbed to the top, but Owens cut him off. Uso pushed him off and attempted a splash, but Owens got his knees up. Owens attempted a stunner, but Uso avoided it. Uso would then grab a chair and beat Owens with it to cause the disqualification. So like I said, not a great finish with the DQ, but he continues the beatdown on Kevin Owens, clears the announce table, and Uso jumped back into the ring. As he was doing all that stuff after hitting Kevin with the chair, it gave Owens a little time to recover. And so Owens would hit him with a stunner. Owens grabbed the chair himself and viciously started beating down Uso. He then looked right into the camera and asked Roman if he's watching. Owens shouted that he fears no one, including Roman Reigns. Owens then called out Reigns and hit another stunner on Jey. Reigns was watching from the back, looking very pissed off, and then Owens would grab a chair, put it at the side of the announce table, and state that he is at the head of the table. And he says that he is waiting for Roman Reigns. Reigns was very unhappy, very furious, but I loved it.
Dude, awesome. Just the camera work, as far as was focused on Kevin Owens, zoomed in on his face.
I also loved how we hear Owens, not to cut you off, but I love how we hear Owens yelling, but we're seeing it from Reigns' perspective on the TV in the back.
Just that detail, as you said, like it's that detail is like, oh my God. And like, okay, I was torn because like I was happy for Kevin Owens that he was standing up for himself and standing up to like this bully of Roman Reigns being a bully to his own cousin. and he's standing up for it. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, you are pissing off Roman Reigns. I'm so worried for you.
And he knew he was.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is not going to end well for Kevin Owens. Like, I feel like I'm worried for him. I'm worried for his livelihood. But like at the same time, I'm happy that he's standing up to the bully. But at the same time, I'm like, oh no, like the repercussions. And just Roman Reigns, to his credit, which I'm sure, listen, I know for years we all want to see go heel, and he's finally a heel now. So let's appreciate and enjoy this moment now. But it just shows that this heel persona fits him so perfectly. Just the body language, his facial expressions, the slight, like he has I'm doing for the video, he's like, serious. And then he's doing like slight little motions with his face to show that he's starting to get pissed off. It's subtle, but it really shows that, oh my God, he is getting pissed off. His blood temperature is probably rising. His blood pressure is rising. And this is not going to end well for Kevin Owens, man. And just, but just the camera work back and forth. I love that detail. And Paul Heyman, to his credit, he adds to that because I think he represents us at home. Like you see him like, and so that represents the WWE universe at home. So just all that, I love that scenario at the end. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Go ahead, take my money. I want to see this match between the two of them. Even though, I hate to say this, we probably know Roman's gonna win, but at the same time, it should be a hell of a banger match.
But overall, I thought this was a really good episode of SmackDown. Like I said earlier, I thought everything made sense for the most part, and everything built to something else. It wasn't just hot-shotting something for a week and then nothing after that. Everything is at least going to lead to something next week. With the the only thing I'm kind of don't know exactly what's going to happen is the Corbin Murphy thing, but it wasn't a one-time thing. At least we know something's going to happen next week between those guys. So, again, overall, I thought it was a really good episode of SmackDown.
Yes. No, thank you for the powers that be who make SmackDown on a continuous basis, like just such a great show over the last, I want to say, God, what was it? Like, I think once the IC tournament maybe started, when was that? Back in June? Like, they've been on a great run for the last 5, almost 6 months now. So it's been so great. And, for all of us, it's refreshing just have such a great show to tune in for and just see all these great storylines play out.
That's for sure. You said thank you to the powers that be. I say thank you to Baby Huey for joining me here tonight to talk some Friday Night Smackdown. Huey, where can they follow you?
Well, thank you once again for having me on the show. I love this. Like I said, I respect everything that you guys do here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. So much fun. I mean, I've now, as you probably see on social media, I go every day on YouTube to get my latest wrestling news from you. So thank you for that. But yeah, for all of you people listening right now, you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/BabyHueyOfficial, Twitter, Instagram at BabyHuey83. If you want to subscribe to my wrestling podcast, it's called In the Click. So go to your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Just search for In the Click, KLIQ. And In the Click's also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. So just search us up. And if you want to email me, intheclick@gmail.com. And love interacting with everyone online. And we try to do a bunch of episodes as well every week. So thank you in advance if you jump on board and subscribe for us.
Again, I want to say thank you, and I want to say thank you to everybody that was here with us, either on twitch.tv/PW Unlimited or youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We will be live again Monday for Monday Night Raw. Oh, I forgot to mention, they said during SmackDown, we're getting another moment of bliss on Monday with Randy Orton yet again. So,
dude,
you got that, and you've got the triple threat on Monday. So we'll see what else they add between now and then. We probably won't know anything till about 45 minutes before the show, but hey, that's a normal Monday.
But that's the thing. It's like 4 o'clock our time here on the West. Yeah, we'll start here seeing whatever Adam Pearce and the crew, and hopefully we'll see another appearance of Drew McIntyre.
They had a good run for like a month around SummerSlam where they were announcing stuff on Sunday. But then they just like, nope, never mind.
No.
But with
Rip
that,
it up
guys,
on site.
with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here tonight. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Don't get in trouble for spending too much for Black Friday. And I'll see you guys on Monday. And...